You probably will heard about PGP is complicated and it will not work right for everyone. So we have some solution for that, or not we, but Enno has. So he will now introduce kinko.me, which will be a kind of plug-and-play solution for using PGP in every environment you can imagine. So enjoy your talk of Enno and have fun.
Hello, everyone. Yes, as I was introduced, my name is Enno, and I'm with the kinko.me team. And I'm here to talk about the kinko.me project, what we are doing, what we did so far. And this talk is a bit about privacy. And maybe a short look out into the next few slides. Right now we are talking about email privacy. So this is the first short trip into the past. Like, the first email ever sent was in 1971, and we know what is in this email because it was sent by a guy which is called Ray Tomlinson, and he says he wrote QWERTY in this first email, or maybe something similar, I can't remember anymore. But back then the internet was 2 years old and consisted of probably 10 nodes. This has changed in the last years. Today, this is a map of the internet, and we have more than 1 billion nodes. And the internet has gained huge political and economical impact these days. And there are people like Google and NSA that are able to read most of the emails that are sent out today. And what's happening with those emails is that they are analyzed. And I'm not sure if everyone in this room knows that an email is a little bit more like a postcard than a letter. Like when we mail a letter, we assume that the post office takes the letter and transfers it to the recipient. And no one in the post service is allowed to have a look into this. But an email actually is more like a postcard. And your mailman can easily read what's on your postcards, and so can your email provider read what's in your email. And who does this? Well, email providers and governments and agencies. And we know this because Google itself says that they are reading our email. Well, they have some software that does this for them with the idea to target commercials and advertisement to you. And we know, well, we assumed all the time, but right now we know that governments and agencies are reading our emails as well. And for a couple of purposes, I would sum this up as commercial surveillance and espionage purposes. And what we must understand is that most of the emails are not read by an actual human, but are read by some software. So what's the consequence of this? We could just say, well, we don't care, and just go on about our daily lives as we did all the last 20 years or so. Or we could start encrypt our email. And I'm pretty sure that most of the people know about this project, which is called PGP. And you mentioned this before. And PGP actually is around since 1991. This was a guy with the name Phil Zimmerman. He started this project, and it was subtitled PGP, Pretty Good Privacy Encryption for the Masses. And that's an idea that I think is really cool, because pretty good privacy doesn't mean perfect privacy. Pretty good privacy means probably it's good for you and me and average persons. But encryption for the masses is a very strong point, because it means that it's not only usable by some experts, but it's available to everyone. And this is what we want to achieve, and this is what Phil Zimmerman wanted to achieve. His idea was give strong cryptography into the hand of the people and make it available to everyone, and don't rely on a central infrastructure, because by introducing a central infrastructure, like the state would hand out encryption keys or so, you would automatically lose this encryption for the masses thing. But now, 23 years later, not many people are using PGP if we take a closer look. And we were thinking about this, and we think the reason for this is that PGP is still too hard to use. And like a short story maybe, there are those crypto parties where people help other people install and start using PGP. And the first crypto party I ever met, the speaker, it took him 90 minutes just to explain the basics of using PGP with Enigmail, the plugin for the Thunderbird mail program. PGP today is not impossible, but really hard to use on a mobile device and in a secure fashion. PGP usually enforces you to use an email client that actually supports PGP. Not every email client does it. And in fact, all the email clients that came to market, or most of the email clients that came to market in the last year, don't support PGP at all. And the last thing is more like a social thing. I think many users still have the notion that they wouldn't have anything to hide, so they, in a way, they really don't care. And yeah, that's totally different reason for not using it. Well, we are here to change this. Our idea is to provide easy email encryption, which is, of course, the opposite of all the other stuff, because we think what we did is easy to use, is easy to get started. It works with your email address, you don't have to change it. It works on all devices, and it works with most email programs, and not only the few that have a specific plugin, and which is open source also. And, well, how can this work, you might wonder? First thing is, this is not a software, or it is software, but the software comes on a small device like this size. And you just get this box, plug it in the router at your home. And it has a cute name. Well, it has to have a unique name, and we decided we would give it a cute name like Pink Pony or Strong Elephant, whatever. And it has a unique SSL certificate on that name. This is important so that we can encrypt all the traffic that goes to the device. And then on this box, there's an SMTP proxy. For those of you that don't know what SMTP is a protocol that your mail program talks to the mail server. So when you send out an email, it talks to the server in this protocol, which is called SMTP, and we have this one on the box. So when you send out an email, it goes to the SMTP server on that box, and the server encrypts it and sends it on. And we have an IMAP sync. Now again, for those that don't know, IMAP is the other side, the receiving side of the email protocol. Basically, that means there's an IMAP server on this box, and when your mail program reads an email, it gets the email from this box, and then the email is already decrypted. And of course, for those people that are bound to use a web browser to read email, we have this also, so you can just use your browser and open the box in your browser and read your email. And it took us a lot of time to get a simple process that helps people to start using this box, because we figured it must be so super easy that really everyone can use it, and we ended up with I don't know, it's a 4 or 5 step process in the end. The first step is there's a welcome page. The next step is you have to agree to the open source licenses. The next step is you set up an encryption key, or basically the box sets up an encryption key. You just say, please do so. Then the next step is you set up your email address, and this is as easy as setting up an email address in an email program, and I guess every one of you has done this before. And the last step is that you set up your email client to use this box instead of the Google mail servers, for example. And we were thinking about this for quite some time, and right now we have 2 processes that work very well. There's a one-click install on a Mac, so you click a button and then the box downloads an installation profile to your Mac and you install it. Everything is set up with Apple Mail. We have a QR code that you can scan with your iPhone or iPad, and then once you do this, your iPad gets set up automatically. And of course, we have installation guides that help you setting up other email accounts in other email programs. And then, because I said it has to work everywhere, which means if you have it installed on your iPhone, and then you are not at home, but I don't know, in your office, and then you still want to read your email, because this is what you're used to all the time. You can read your email when it's hosted by Google, sure. So there must be some way to connect the box in your home and your mobile phone, and we bring you this shuttle service which just does this. And this is encrypted. For the details, you can talk with me in the break probably, because this would be too long to explain here. But it's nothing that we built ourselves. This is something where we rely on OpenSSL for those techies in the audience. The thing is, in the end, no one can read the data when it comes when it goes from your mobile phone to your box. Yeah, and this is more or less the most important things that I wanted to tell you about the kinko box. Now, when we tell about this thing, we usually have the same set of questions that people ask us, and I wanted to ask me these questions right now. The first thing is, now, okay, I have a box, and I want to send out an encrypted email. Does the recipient also need a box? And the answer is no. Because the recipient can also use Thunderbird and Enigmail or Apple Mail with the GPG Tools plugin or any other solution that works with GPG. We still feel that the box is really way easier to use than all this other stuff. And the second thing is, if I own a box and I have this box in my home, and I live with my girlfriend, and she can use the same box, so we don't have to buy one box for each of us. So that's the other thing where people can use PGP encrypted email right away. The second question, do I need a new email address? And the answer is no, you don't. It's possible to use it different in a new email address, but the idea was to bring people into this GPG thing as easy as possible, and changing your email address and telling everyone in the world you have a new one is probably not that good a way. The last thing is, for those that know about PGP, there's this thing which is called a public key and a private key, and you have to know the public key of the recipient, and only then you can send an encrypted email to him or to her. And well, this box helps you with this, so usually you don't have to do anything. You just have to set up this box and can start right away. Yeah, now I want to tell you a few things about where we stand, where we come from, where we're going to. And we started this project with email encryption in October 2013, like, what's it, 10 months ago. And we presented the project at the 33, the Chaos Computer Club Congress in Hamburg. We were invited by the EFF, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, to San Francisco to present the project. We are still in the run for the IT-Sicherheitspreis this year here in Germany, and we have a working prototype, this one. And now the future. Well, we all don't know really what's going on in the future, but we have ideas that go far beyond just email encryption. Because if you would have a box like this in your home, then you would have a piece of hardware which has a unique encryption key. This is just, which is just on that box. And so you could build something with this. And this is what we actually want to achieve, that people start building applications that need privacy and that need strong but still decentralized privacy. For example, we have ideas about integrating a Dropbox clone, so when you share files via Dropbox, they don't get sent to this server in the US, but they just stay on this small box in your home. And we want to add video chat, and we want to open this platform so that everyone who's able to can write applications for this box. Right now, we started a crowdfunding campaign just 2 days ago or something, and you should feel invited to support us. And yeah, this is where we are standing right now. And there's one other thing that I need to add. When I said in the beginning, one reason that people don't use encryption is that they have the feeling they don't have anything to hide. But I feel that that's not true for everyone, basically. And so this is more a social issue. People have to start talking about this and have to start just using encryption. And so we want to support the community. And there's one thing, you probably heard of this, is the Freiheit statt Angst demonstration in Berlin, which takes place once a year. This year is 30th of August. If you find the time, drop by, and if you come to Berlin, give us a call and we will meet for coffee. So now, this is my last slide in this talk. I want to thank you all. If you take one thing away from this talk, I really want you to start using email encryption. Honestly, I don't really care if you're using our box or not. I still want this box, and this box will only happen if we make the crowdfunding campaign a success. So if you take away two things from this talk, then please support us at getkinko.com. Thank you.
So, and again, some questions. Yeah, there are some questions in the crowd.
Well, obviously, how much is the box?
This sounds much, but the box is 195 euros in the crowdfunding campaign. We have the feeling that it's way too expensive still, and we want to have it cheaper. But to make hardware cheap, you have to mass produce. And so the thing is just to get this out, the first 1,000 boxes or so, and then to see where we're going.
I have one comment and two comments basically. One comment is that my feeling is that the problem with email encryption is not basically that you think that you should hide something, but that nobody of the guys I'm mailing with wants to use it. So it's not me, it's the others. That's at least my feeling. Maybe I'm completely wrong. And the second thing I wanted to note about hardware, there is the A10 and the A20 Lime boxes by Olimax. They cost about 40 euros and they do a lot for the bugs. So if you want to look into some other hardware, that's my recommendation. And there is a standard Debian on it, so it's a nice box.
Thank you.
I'm not affiliated with them, but I just like them.
Okay. Just the first remark, my feeling is that even those people that don't want to use email encryption right away, when you talk to them and say, but hey, listen, I want to use email encryption and I want to communicate with you, can you please start email encryption? And then they say, okay, I had a look at Thunderbird and Enigmail and I really hate it, so you're going back to non-encrypted. But if you are giving those people the possibility to really use an easy thing, and the thing that must be set up once, and even the setup is easy, then those people are ready to use encryption. This is my experience, but we can discuss this in a break. And the second question, I wasn't really sure if you were saying the Linux Lime is great, or if you were saying it sucks.
It's good.
Yeah. That's cool, because this is what we have in this box.
Okay, so what's the rest of the euros?
Say again?
I'm just wondering what the rest of the money goes in then, because A10 is something like 50 euros if you buy it directly.
Okay, I can give you a short rundown. It's not perfect numbers. And it's not super complete, but just a short rundown. If you buy the board that's in this box, it costs 30 euros. And if you buy the Gehäuse in English, case, if you buy the case, it's another 5 euros. And then you buy the storage, and then you buy the power adapter, and so on. And then you end up with like 45 to 50 euros, and then you add VAT on top, and then you have like, yes, you do, because it's from Bulgaria. But anyways, we don't have to discuss the details. In the end, you end up with like 70 euros or something, or say 80 euros. But this is the thing when you do this on your own. If you do this in a somehow commercial sense, then you have people that want to return the box because they don't like it or it's broken or whatever. And estimates are about 20 to 40% for that, and you have additional costs on top for, well, other stuff, fulfillment, payment, and so on. Everything costs money, and I'm really sorry to tell this, but that's what ends up in our, not really pockets, because we're using this stuff to pay our rent and to pay our servers, well, what end up is probably more like 40 to 50 euros. So you should feel invited. I said the software is open source. You should feel invited to get the hardware yourself and to download and install the software yourself. I would really love this, because then I would have less hassle. Okay.
Is this something you could convince a computer manufacturer to integrate into their manufacturing process?
That's a hard question, but an interesting one. I think it would be cool to have software like this added to routers, because I think the router would be the perfect place to add this functionality. But the thing is, to convince router manufacturers, well, you have to prove that there's a market for this. So if you would, I don't know, if someone comes along and orders 100,000 boxes, then we can talk again. But until then, it's probably hard to convince them, especially since the software that's running on this box needs more power than you usually have in a router. But we would like to see this integrated in a device that users already have.